What is going on? I guess this would be for TTM fans out there. Yeah, I am recording. Okay, cool. So this was supposed to be uploaded probably last week at this point, but it's okay. We're recording it now. It'll be up. I don't know about tonight because it's already midnight, and I sort of want to relax and watch Sports Center. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, currently it is Saturday morning at 12:08 in the morning, and we this is my round 2 game for TTM Surge All Stars for versus the the Uzigunner. Round 1, I would upload that, but for my own reasons, I don't want to. I know Geo chose not to upload his round 1, so I think I have the initiative of not doing so either. I think if they question it, I'll just give my reasoning, and I'm sure they'll understand. Worst case scenario, I'll upload it later on. But anyways, we played the Uzigunner round 2 in the silver bracket. I did not make gold because, spoilers, I did lose round 1 to Hail. Bullshit Hail in round 1. I don't want to talk about it. What happened happened. We played the Uzigunner, and it's round 2, so we get to pick up more Mons, and we picked up Haxers, obviously. I don't know if we picked up anything besides that, but obviously everything else applies to round 1. Like, Embor for sure was a round 1 pick. It was a first overall pick in round 1, if that makes sense. And then Hax was his pickup. Whether he made trades afterwards or not, I have no idea. But that was his team of 7. My team at this point was only 6, so he knew exactly what I was bringing. Like, no doubt about it, he knew exactly which 6 mods I had to bring. So for me personally, I felt like that was a big disadvantage. But at the same time, those 6 mods are obviously pretty good if it hits the price cap of 6 Pokemon, obviously. And I'll show you right now what I have. But just to go over his team, it's Embor, Mesprit, Persian, Aromatisse, Aerodactyl, Rotom-Fan, and Haxorus. Luckily, with Persian, what makes it a threat is that obviously besides like Pardon Shot and Katana, it's bulky. And Z Pardon Shot, which is what he has access to, due to it being the Z move, Haxorus becomes a much bigger threat. But luckily, that's really his only actual way of setup. He can be like offensive Aromatisse with Trick Room, but it's not like it gets good ways of setting up, especially against my team specifically, I would say. And obviously, Embor doesn't get like SD or agility. Mesprit can be Calm Mind, but I feel like against me, that wouldn't be Mesprit's job. It would definitely be a bulky rocker, or like just 3 attacks rocks, as you'll see. Yeah, my team of 6 was Lycanroc, Delmise, Electros, Noivern, Snorlax, and Togekiss. And what I was primarily worried about was like Rock's Ice Beam Mesprit, because obviously Taunt Noivern would get blasted by Ice Beam. Delmise gets chipped by Ice Beam even if it's not invested, and I wouldn't be able to Rapid Spin forever, like realistically speaking, especially if he's like there's no way Mesprit dies to 1 Shadow Claw unless he's very non-invested in bulk, which I feel like he definitely would be against me because of my speed tiers. Because I don't feel like he would want to try to outspeed Togekiss, nor do I feel like he wants. Like, besides that, he doesn't have a reason to run speed, so I feel like it would just be a lot of bulk and HP, like max HP, EVs and whatever bulk, and then the rest in special attack. So that was my primary worry. Embor obviously as a Scarfer made a lot of sense because if it wasn't Scarf, Togekiss takes a lot of advantage against it. And so does Noivern, because fun fact, max speed Noivern at level 50 does only speed ties a Jolly Embor, which I found out, which is pretty fun. And yeah, we had to play at level 50 because these games are primarily meant to be played on the DS, which I wasn't able to for this one. So we had to do level 50 on Draft Frontier, which is fine. Like, for one, I'm probably not even prepared in terms of like Z crystals and such to play on my DS. I think I have most of them. I might be missing like 1. Like, I beat the game World for Sun and Moon, and I literally have not touched it since the beginning. So, simple as that. But anyways, going back to the team matchup, I'm just trying to like primarily give you guys my thoughts before I get to the team. I'm probably taking way too damn long, so whatever. Yeah, Haxorus, besides the fact that I can set up, I wasn't primarily too worried about it because Togekiss naturally takes it on, and Uzigunner smacks it because Haxorus doesn't have the greatest bulk in the world, especially on the dev side if I'm not mistaken. Because it has decent I'm not even sure if I'm spouting its stats correctly because I don't know it too well. But I want to say its special defense is much worse than its Phys Def. So Togekiss with Dazzling Gleam in my mind was primarily really good. And by the way, as you can see, my round 2 picks were Snorlax and Togekiss, which is why I only ended up having 6 Mons because I had to drop like 2. I dropped 3 Pokemon in total to ensure I had Snorlax and Togekiss. And it was sort of a big gamble, but I feel like it was definitely worth because on paper my team looks pretty damn good because just between you and me, Snorlax in a round 2 Surge format seems a bit busted because, like, especially in the case of Emboar, besides low kick and superpower, it doesn't hit me too hard naturally because of Thick Fat, which I could run pretty easily, especially against the team because he does not have a Ghost type. So I have the advantage of being able to run Curse Return, and unless he's like Unnerve, Taunt, Aerodactyl, which is what I definitely expected. Like, Unnerve, Taunt, Aerodactyl completely shuts down Curse Lines, unless I was Ice Punch or any other coverage, which I realistically could not fit on a Curse Line set, unless I was Recycle, and even then he could taunt. So I felt like that was definitely his way to go. Burn Fan doesn't really beat Curse Lines because Burn is like a taunt, and Will-O-Wisp would be really negligible, so that would be setup fodder. Aromatisse, setup fodder. Persian I can taunt, but after 1 curse I took KO with return. Mesprit, same case. Emboar, after 1 superpower, and if I'm cursed up, I beat it 1v1, which is insane. If you Scarf, I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, if you Scarf, I did the counts on that. It does like 50%. And Haxorus, technically, you can low kick as well, but once I get a curse up, I take it pretty well. So Snorlax was a big win con in this game. I built my... Obviously, I can only build my team around whatever's given to me. I have 6 Pokemon, but Snorlax was my win con for sure. And realistically speaking, the biggest threats were Aerodactyl because of its speed tier and how it can hit my team. It outspeeds my Noivern and nukes it with Stone Edge. And same with Togekiss because of a nerve I can't run Charty Berry to T-Wave it because I would still die because of a nerve. So yeah, in terms of Noivern and Togekiss, that does not work. It can taunt my Lax and it can just do a lot of damage overall with Stun Edge because I don't have a Rock Resist. So that was primarily what I looked at. Lock and Rock looked really good because of his Cell Rock he has no Rock Resist and it outsped his whole team except Persian and Aerodactyl. And obviously Persian is Persian and Aerodactyl has Cell Rock. So realistically, I had my mindset in exactly how I wanted to play this. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. I'm sorry for taking so damn long. All my mods are named Hunty because every single one of them reminded me of Hunter. So I just chose to name them all after Hunter. Except for Delmice because I named them all Grandeur because it's honestly my favorite nickname I've ever came up with personally. So, it's whatever. Anyways, we have a Stealth Rock, Taunt, Stone Edge, Cell Rock, Lock and Rock. Taunt for the Mesprit because I can take hits from it naturally well, and rocks against his team are decent because of Aerodactyl, because of Run Fan. I would really like him up, and I only need a Cell Rock and Stone Edge because with like any Z, even if I'm not SD, I do a ton of damage to, like, let's say Aromatisse. I think Phys Def takes like 70% from Z Edge, and if I get, like, if it ever switches in and I chip it down with Stone Edge, it's in range, like, guaranteed. And, well, actually, I think what I was thinking, because actually Z-Edge does very little. I'm not going to do the calcs right now because I don't really see the point of doing so. But I remember if Aromatisse ever swapped in and I hit it with Stun Edge, I can scout if it was Speed Def or Phys Def. And depending on the such, I can go into my Togekiss and I would be able to chip it down a little more easy if it's not Speed Def because Air Slash would do more. And if it's Phys Def, then... If it's not Phys Def, then my Delmice hits it much harder and such. And obviously if it's not Phys Def, Stun Edge plus Z Edge kills it, and it's not like he can really pivot unless he has a really good sack because he does not have a Rock Resist. So to me, I feel like this set was just really, really good. It's enough speed to outspeed what I expect to be a creeping... I think this was for Adamant Aerodactyl or whatever. Or, yeah, it was for something like that. This Noivern set is going to speed tie a Scarf Emboar. And you are looking at the screen correct. I forgot to bring an item. I was probably gonna either bring Rocky Helmet or Leftovers. Either one didn't really come into play. Spoilers, you'll see. You'll see what I mean. Draco, Toxic, Hurricane, Roost. I would run Taunt, but you cannot taunt an Aromatisse because of its ability, so that really is negligible. But if I can drop a Toxic on the Aromatisse, I can scout for if it has Heal Bell, and I can play the long game with it if need be. And Draco Hurricane is reasonably good against his team. I'll go back and show you just so I can see what I mean. Besides Aromatisse, if I drop a Toxic on him, I can hit it up with Hurricane later on, and his Hurricane Resist is an Aerodactyl, which after rocks dies to Draco with my spread. That's what 156 EV and special attack does. And like Mesprit doesn't, Mesprit, Emboar, Persian, none of those are Hurricane switching. Haxor's isn't. Rotom Fan doesn't want to take a Hurricane plus Draco, and he can't really pivot if his Aromatisse is Toxic, which is exactly what I was thinking. And Roost, because I can Roost up on, let's say, the Rotom Fan rather easily. And there's other mons too, I'm pretty sure. Persian, I can Roost on Persian easily, because Foul Play won't be doing too much, because I'm 0 minus attack, so it's gonna realistically bounce off me like it's paper. And Mesprit, obviously I'm afraid of it because of its Ice Beam potential. Anyways, yeah, you get the point. The point is that it can pivot into Emboar, and if it's not Scarf, I scare it out and I can Roost or Hurricane, whichever one I choose, and I can also make the aggressive play in Toxic. And again, that's why I was thinking Rocky Helmet would be kind of cool, so I could chip the Emboar that way. And Leftovers too, because I'm EV to where I take 2 Flurry Blitzes from Scarf Emboar, and if he was adamant, he would be doing more damage, but I outspeed guaranteed. If he's Jolly, he doesn't. So to me, I felt like that was pretty cool. Togekiss, T-Wave, 2 attacks Roost, because I feel like this is definitely a better set, because besides Aerodactyl, he doesn't break the set at all. This is enough speed for Jolly non-Scarf Emboar, and obviously if he outspeeds his spread, he is Scarf, guaranteed. And it's interesting with the EVs and HP and 50, because obviously numbers round down in calculations in Pokemon. So I didn't have to run a lot, so 132, 116, 120, 140. That spread isn't just enough to take all his Def hits and then his Def hits. And I was gonna be Charty Berry, and I was for a long time until I realized, oh wait, my Nerve is pretty good against my team, so I feel like Leftovers is just a better way to go, because I'd be carrying a useless item if I brought Charty. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. This can potentially just beat his team down, and if I somehow catch the Aerodactyl on a T-Wave, it's even better. Obviously, Rotom sort of completely stops me on my tracks because I'm not invested, so Dazzling Gleam won't be hitting it too hard. But at the same time, I have a Lax, I have an Electros, I have a Electric, so it's really not that big of a problem. Next is Grandor. It's a kind of a whack set, because my only 2 real attacks are Anchor Shot and Knockoff. Knockoff because if the Rotom comes in, because it resists both my stabs, actually well, it resists 2 of 3 of my stabs, you know what I mean? But I can't realistically click a Ghost move comfortably against his team. I would most likely want to click Anchor Shot 90% of the time. So this Rotom's a real good switch in. So Knockoff, Meaner, Knockoff Leftovers is really good, because it's not like he'd be Z, because his Z is Persian. So I felt like Knockoff was fantastic. And Anchor Shot, because it's going to hit the Aromatisse really damn hard. And as you can see with my team so far, I can't really hit it too hard. So having that option is fantastic. And Protect, because I really expect Scarf Emboar. Or at the very least a Choice Emboar. It would make no sense for it to be banded, in my opinion, because it needs the speed. If it doesn't have the speed, then it dies to a lot of my team. Like the Noivern, the Lycanroc, and the Togekiss are a pure example of that. So having Protect the Scout, if he's going to go for Flare Blitz, means I can pivot into Snorlax and actually set up Curses, which is insane to think about. And obviously if you click Superpower trying to be aggressive, I can stay in and click Knockoff or Absolute. Well, I wouldn't click Knockoff because I don't want him to be able to switch up moves, but I would definitely just click Anchor Shot, and then he'd be stuck there if he chose to stay in. Or if he switches, I trap whatever comes in, and I can make the correct play, which is what makes Anchor Shot so good. And obviously Protect Leftovers before it got Synthesis, that was a strat, but even now it doesn't really get the chance to click Synthesis. That's what I've noticed, at least. Next is Curse. It's pretty self-explanatory. That HP set, that enough HP to be to get enough beneficial HP per turn, max defense, resting Def, and 4 attack, because I felt like it. Simple as that. And Electros. I guess I should explain him. Thick Fat because, like I said, if he locks himself in a Flare Blitz, I take that like it's my damn job, and then I can set up curses, and I could potentially just win the game from there. Then this is a really cool Electros set, in my opinion. So like I said, I have no Aerodactyl switch-ins because I don't have a Rock Resist. Well, luckily it's not a Z, because that would be really bad because he can run Z Fly, and that would just suck a lot. But luckily, I can run this set. It's 4 attacks, so you would be thinking, why aren't you Assault Vest? But Leftovers is really good because I take hits relatively well from his entire team, and having that leftover recovery is really nice. And I didn't see the need for an AV because he doesn't have great special attackers on his team. As you can see, like Mesprit, Aromatisse, and Rotom Fan are really it. And Mesprit's the hardest one, and realistically speaking, I'm not afraid of Mesprit on this set particularly. I'm more than willing to take anything from it, and I can hit it up with Discharge or Acid Spray and Dragon Pulse or Volt Switch. And another great thing is that he doesn't have great discharge switches. Excuse me, holy crap! Besides the Rotom Fan, which takes a lot from Discharge naturally, nothing wants to switch in because of the paralysis chances. And if I can paralyze literally anything on his team, even the Aromatisse, my Togekiss becomes a much bigger threat. And obviously, Aerodactyl doesn't appreciate this mon, and just having it around to click Volt Switch because he does not have a ground type. Nor does he have a mon that absorbs electricity. So Electros is just fantastic in this matchup. Overall, besides Snorlax, it's definitely like my other mon that does a lot of work against his team. So without further ado, let's just get right into the game. I should probably look over it, but I'm not going to because I probably remember most of what happened. So he leads with a Rotom Fan, which is interesting because I thought about leading Lycanroc and just clicking the nuke button, but this is fair too, because I can get a slow Volt Switch off on him and I can see what he clicks here. As he just chooses to go for Will-O-Wisp, which is interesting, because I'm not toxic, which means I can definitely just later on come into game, and I can still take hits quite comfortably, and I wouldn't be afraid of it because I'm not getting toxic ticked every turn. It's just burn damage, and obviously with the burn nerf, that's completely fine by me. So at this point, I heavily expect him to switch because, like, the rock move is definitely a pretty potent option for me. I don't feel like he should stay in, so I'm just gonna get my rocks up, but he stays in and burns me, so it fucking sucks. And then what makes this worse is that I click Z Edge here because I'm just mad that I got burned, and I find out that he's Charty Berry and takes it really well. And as you can see from that damage, if I click Z Edge, he was dead, and that would have been kind of nice, but it's fine, and you'll see what I mean because he defogs, and I'm kind of confused what the set is now because it's Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch. No, Will-O-Wisp, Defog, Pain Split. So he has one other move, and it's probably Volt Switch. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just gonna taunt here because I expect to defog again, and I don't want him to be defogging. And I'm just gonna switch into my Delmice, and he's gonna go into Aromatisse. And I'm not gonna say I full-on predicted this, but I felt like the Delmice pivot here was fantastic because even if he Volt Switch, he didn't have a even if he Volt Switch, he went into Emboar and I protected on it, and I found out what he went for. If he goes into Persian, obviously that's a bit of a problem, but I could just go back into Electros and pivot from there. So I felt like Grandor was definitely just the overall best pivot. But in this case, obviously Aromatisse was a really good switch-in because it takes nothing from any of my hits because I'm burnt, and it gets him a free wish. But obviously in this scenario, he can't be doing that, so knockoff is reasonably free. As the Rotom comes in here, and I just knocked that bitch off for absolutely free. A crit knockoff fails to kill him because his item is knocked. He has no item anymore, which is unfortunate because now he can defog, and obviously if he had an item, I killed him. But I'm going to be playing a few 50-50 plays here because I feel like I can easily just taunt and then get my rocks up, and I feel like that would be such an easy play, but Uzi's not thinking about that, I guess. So I'm going to taunt here. I'm not even thinking twice. If he Volt Switches here, then he completely got me, but luckily he doesn't, and I'm going to get my rocks up now, and I understand what he's going for now. And by the way, as you can see, his names are based off of Octopath Traveler because of Ophelia, the Aromatisse, Alphin, the Aerodactyl, and I forget, he has other ones too. You'll see later in the game. And for all you guys who don't know, Octopath Traveler is probably my favorite game I've ever played. In my entire life, I would have to say, like besides X and Y and the Gen 3 Pokemon games. Octopath Traveler has just been an absolute bliss to play. It's fantastic. I highly recommend those who have not played it, play it. It's probably going to be up there for Game of the Year, if I had to be honest. And because I can't name a better candidate. But anyways, back to Pokemon. He goes into Aerodactyl. I'm going to go to my Electros because Stealth Rock seems like a reasonably easy play because I can't taunt because he's faster and I'm burnt, so he could take any hit. So now I'm going to go Volt Switch, but he has the sack, and I sort of expected that, and there's nothing I can do about it because, like I said, Electros has a fantastic matchup against this entire team, so I wasn't mad about him making that play. Like, if he made it, he made it. It was so be it. So he's actually going to go into Aromatisse. I thought he was going to go Emboar, but I guess he doesn't Oko me unless he's Banded. And like I said, I don't expect Banded, and he protects on my Acid Spray, so I suspect that he would be worried about me just Acid Spraying him down. But he understands. I guess he could just Wish Protect forever. So I'm gonna make the big dick energy play here. I'm just gonna go to my Lax Dude, and obviously the Aromatisse does not get taunt. I wrote down on my notes all the mons that get taunt in this team, and there's three of them on the field. Persian, Aerodactyl, and Haxorus. I only expect taunt on probably 2 of them. If he brought taunt on all 3, so be it. I'll play around it. So anyways, he's going to click Wish here because that's pretty damn obvious. I'm just going to click Curse. And at this point, it's looking like it's about to fucking like eat his ass because at this point, if he's only Scarf, Superpower does so little, and he's going to be dropping his own defense to -1. So he's actually going to go into the Aerodactyl after he sees me Curse, which I found interesting. And he takes 44 from that. And by the way, he's also pressured. He wasn't unnerved, which to me was really weird. Like, I just don't see why you weren't nerfed. Like, to me, if I'm not big fat, I'm gluttony. And that means I'm useless against the Aerodactyl, and you can just taunt me, and then I'm really useless against you. So, to me personally, that was kind of whack. But anyways, he's going to keep roosting. So I understand that if I get a Curse up, I can start to KOing him. And that's what I'm going to do, is he actually clicks Stone Edge instead of Roost, so I could have just killed him off right there. But it's whatever. I'm just going to start returning again. As, yeah, I'm doing 55 now, and he can't do much. He's just going to click Edge, and he misses again. And I Curse again. So, literally a repeat turn. So now he's going to start roosting again. I'm just kidding. He goes into Therion, the Persian, also an Octopath nickname. I love it. Takes 73, which is fantastic. He's going to Z-Pardon Shot. That's pretty obvious. But what's he going to go into? Like Aerodactyl. It's going to be taking Rocks and a +2 return, which it already took 55 from. And he told me later on he was Roar. Obviously, at this point, he could not click it, but there was other moments in the game where he could have. And I find out at this point he's definitely not taunt, so I'm just gonna click Curse, and I'm gonna now return and just kill him off. And remember, I'm at +4 defense, so he's gonna go to Emboar. I'm like, okay, this shit's gonna do like 25, but he actually does 45% to me, so I'm reasonably sure he was not Scarf. He was definitely Banded, so for him to switch after I was only +1 was interesting because he would have knocked me down really low. Because there's no way that was Scarf damage, because Scarf damage at +1 defense only was doing like 50-some%. So for it to do 45 when I was at +4 defense, yeah, that set off a lot of red alarms in my head. But either way, I kill it, and now I'm just gonna return the thing. His only other mon that can kill me at this point is Haxorus if it has low kick, which his Emboar could have also had low kick, but luckily he was superpower, not low kick. I didn't think about it at the time until one of the guys in the IPA told me after the game was done that he could have been low kick on the Emboar, and I was like, well shit, that you're actually correct about that. I didn't even think about it in prep for 2 seconds. Anyways, foul player's damage isn't gonna kill, so Pogs to that. I killed the Persian and we 6-0, so we went a round 2 game against Uzi. Kind of it's unfortunate that I had to thrash him that way. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to, because he's such a good guy. He was real humble to me. He was real we both like Octopath Traveler, so he's already a winner in my book. And he's such a nice guy. Like in the DMs, like we had casual talk about I was getting coffee at McDonald's like a couple days before we played. Or it was actually the day before, or even the day of. I'm not even sure. It's been like a week. But yeah. Unfortunate that I had to knock him out. So round 3 we play Mega Oshawott, who I believe is an admin for the All-Star tournament for SummerSlam. So it'll be interesting to see how we play. And it's weird because you see who you play before you pick, because it's a set bracket. So it's interesting how you can like counter team your own, like in your own way, because obviously your opponent can counter team you and you can counter team your opponent. And with your new picks, it's interesting how they synergize against each other in terms of matchup and if they beat each other or not on paper. And obviously, if somebody picks up the better mon that can beat you, then you're at a more you're at a bigger disadvantage. But anyways, this video has probably gone long enough, so that's gonna be all for me. In terms of IPA, obviously I haven't uploaded since week 2. I actually finished my week 10 game already, lol. So I'll probably do a season like analysis breakdown. And you know, obviously if you watch that, you'll see if I made playoffs or not. But to be honest, I don't know if I want to make that video before I finish playoffs. But at the same time, if I do it before playoffs, there's that non-biased tone and opinion before I either destroy myself by bad prep or if I get RNG'd to death. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching if you did. Appreciate you. Au revoir. Peace.